We're gonna need tens of thousands.
How did you...
What? I'm worried about the plot of The Unstable Universe. That's a drastic thing to say right at the gate, I'm aware, so allow me to explain what I actually mean by this. The Unstable Universe recently has gone into an arc about Parrot as the king. One of the actions as king was to open up spawn towards new players. There are, of course, old players who have decided that they don't like these new players, and created groups such as Cindercrest or Sarge Law's unit of what remains from the law. Perhaps unintentionally, this can be seen as a metaphor for immigration, though I'd wager that it is in fact intentional, because I do have faith in PARROTX2's writing. This isn't a doom post despite the title, an overall gloomy way that I may seem. With the state of the world, experiencing the genocides in Congo, Sudan, Ukraine, Palestine, and so many more places alongside the presidencies of people like Donald Trump, but to be someone who tells stories is to have a lot of responsibility, especially if the primary audience of your stories or content are children. To cater to this age group is to take on a massive responsibility because you have decided to teach. When catering towards a young audience, it becomes your job to teach them. Obviously, not to the same extent as a teacher or a parent, but there is a reason that every story is supposed to have a moral, that there's supposed to be some thinking behind it. An episodic kids show can teach, but the audience here I'd imagine is more around the ages of 8 to 12, rather than 4 years old. Yes, Unstable Universe has its episodic stages, but these tie into an overall narrative. It's important to understand that by episodic here, I mean something like Cocomelon Lane, or Wiggles, Daniel Tiger, Acna's Man Channel, you get the point, and not something like Power Rangers. I'd argue that while technically you can consider that Unstable Universe is episodic, they do it right. So the responsibility lies in the symbolism, and what you're telling this age group is right. You're in the current story arc, with Parrot being in the wrong about new players, you're not doing your due duty as a storyteller. And if you try to say, lyric, not all that is political, go back to the first grade and dump milk on your forehead. Parrot, as a character in the Unstable Universe, is incredibly flawed, a complete and utter unreliable narrator. No one is denying any of this, even though I do tend to agree with the decisions that Parrot's character makes more than most people would. At least that's my impression from Twitter. I'm a big fan of PARROTX2. I really enjoy his perspective on the Unstable Universe, but that's exactly why I'm afraid of a narrative, because quite frankly, the resolution of the storyline in Parrot's perspective will either be peak or absolute garbage. Ultimately, the main point I'm getting at here is that while Parrot can be a bad king, sure, or a bad person, he needs to be right about that one thing, or you're essentially teaching kids that Donald Trump is right, and that is not something you should be teaching children.